Welcome back, families. We're going to look at multiplication strategies. I'm going to start off with a simple multiplication story. I'm going to say that I had 3 boxes, and each box has 5 marbles. I'm going to look at first the way I can show that as a multiplication sentence. I have 2 numbers here and here, which are called our factors, and I have my total or my answer, which is called my product. We prefer students to use the word product, but the word total also works. The first number represents the number of groups in the story, which in this case is the 3 boxes. They stand for the 3 groups that I have. So I would have 3 as my first factor. The second factor represents the number in each group. Each is a very important word, and in this case I have 5 marbles in each of the boxes. The first way that I'm going to show my work for this story problem is with a picture. I can draw something as simple as circle and dots. We tell students that we're not concerned about trying to draw boxes or pretty marbles. Circles and dots are fine. So for 3 times 5, I have 3 groups. I like students to label their work. This would be group 1 or box 1, group 2 or box 2, and group 3 or box 3. In each group I have 5. Students can either write the number 5, or if they want, they can draw out 5 dots. Either way works. After they've drawn their picture, students need to show their skip counting. They're counting the multiples of 5 because there are 5 in each group. I have 5. 5 plus another 5 gets me to 10, plus another 5 gets me to 15, which is my product or my total. Another way I can show this multiplication story is on a number line. So my number line is just a straight line. I always start at 0. My first jump on the number line is going to stand for the first box, so I could call this box 1, or I could, like before, just write G1 for group 1. Box 1 I know has 5 marbles, so this is a jump of plus 5. 0 plus 5 gets me to 5. I'm going to draw the second box, box 2 or group 2. The second box also has 5 because each box has 5. 5 plus 5 gets me to 10 on the number line. And my last jump or my last box or group 3 is still going to be plus 5. 10 plus 5 gets me to 15. A number line also shows repeated addition. We are repeatedly adding the same number. 5 plus 5 plus 5. A very common mistake is that students think the repeated addition for 3 times 5 would be 3 plus 5, which doesn't make sense in this case. I would not add 3 boxes plus 5 marbles. If I want to look at repeated addition, I know that I'm going to have 3 groups, and I'm just putting 5 in each group. This looks very similar to the picture that I did a few minutes ago, and it looks exactly like my open number line, 5 plus 5 plus 5. The last strategy I'm going to use to show my story problem is an array. Arrays can be a little bit confusing because when we start teaching arrays, we tell students to look in terms of rows, which go side to side, and columns, which go up and down. But for every array, there are, in fact, 2 multiplication sentences. But if I was just going to draw 1, 3 times 5, I would first set up my 3 rows or my 3 groups. So I would say here's 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. These are my 3 rows. I'm now going to add 5 into each row. I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Many students have already picked up on the fact that I am a stickler for skip counting. So when I add my skip counting for my rows, I have 5, 10, 15. I found my product or my total. I can also count the columns, skip count the columns. This is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And again, I found my total or my product. The other way that students might try to set this up is basically flipping the array to go the other way. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and putting 3 in each group. This does show 3 times 5, but I like students to show it the other way, where it looks more like this with the rows going that way, because we would say 3 rows of 5, so 1 row, 2 row, 3 row. If a student was just looking at this array right here, this would be more of 5 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rows of 1, 2, 3. They can be interchanged, but if a student is looking at just one array, we want them to see the rows going across first. So this would be 5 times 3, and this would be 3 times 5. Okay, so those were the multiplication strategies that we've covered so far in class. I hope, again, that this was helpful, and thank you for watching.